E.N.D here. Finally, we are going back on Ixalan, but this will not be the Ixalan that we explored 6 years ago. This will be a different set, as we are going to descend and explore the deep core of the plane. Therefore, let's get lost in the lost caverns of Ixalan. Quintorius Khan, the only planeswalker in the set, 3-1 red and 1 white, 4 loyalty counters. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, it deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life, ideal for the adventure mechanic. +1, create a 3-2 red and white spirit creature token. -3, discover 4. -6, exile any number of target cards from your graveyard. Add 1 red mana for each card exiled this way. You may play those cards this turn. Honestly, I love this colorful borderless version of the card. Sahili the Sun's Brilliance for 1 blue and 1 red, 2-2. For 1 blue and 1 red, tap, create a token that's a copy of another target creature or artifact you control, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. It gains haste, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Gods, Ojer Tak Deepest Foundation, 4 and 2 white, 6-6 with Vigilance. If 1 or more creature tokens would be created under your control, 3 times that many of those tokens are created instead. When it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped and transformed under its owner's control. And when it dies, it transforms into Temple of Civilization. Tap to add 1 white mana. 2 and 1 white. Tap. Transform it back. Activate only if you attack with 3 or more creatures this turn and only as a sorcery. The Enigma Jewel for 1 blue. Enters the battlefield tap. Tap to add 2 colorless mana. Spend this mana only to activate abilities. Craft with 4 or more non-lands with activated abilities for 8 and 1 blue. And when you craft, it transforms into Locus of Alignment. It has activated abilities of exile cards used to craft it. You may activate each of those abilities once each turn. Whenever you activate an ability that isn't mana ability, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. The Myco Tyrant for 1-1 black and 1 green, ***, trample. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control that are fungi and or saplings. At the beginning of your end step, create X 1-1 black fungus creature token with this creature can block, where X is the number of times you descended this turn. Vito Fanatic of Aklatos for 2-1 white and 1 black 4-4 with flying. Whenever you sacrifice another permanent, you gain 2 life. If this is the first time, this ability has resolved this turn. If it's the second time, each opponent loses 2 life. If it's the third time, create a 4-3 white and black vampire demon creature token with flying. Rare cards. The Ever-Flowing Well, 2 and 1 blue. Enters the battlefield, mill 2 cards, then draw 2 cards. Descend 8. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, transform it. And it transforms into the Myriad Pools. Tap to add 1 blue mana. Whenever you cast a permanent spell using mana produced by it, up to 1 other target permanent control becomes a copy of that spell until end of turn. Malcolm Alluring Scrounger for 1 and 1 blue, 2-1 with flash and flying. When it deals combat damage to a player, put a chorus counter on it, draw a card, then discard the card. If there are 4 or more chorus counters on it, you may cast the discarded card without paying its mana cost. Souls of the Lost for 1 and 1 black, ***, +1. As an additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. Its power is equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that power +1. Hit the Mother Load, 4 and 3 red, sorcery, discover 10. If the discovered card's mana value is less than 10, create a number of tap treasure tokens equal to the difference. Jade Light Sparkler, X and 1 green, 1-1, enters the battlefield, it explores X times. Cosmium Confluence, 4 and 1 green, sorcery, choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Search your library for a cave card, put it on the battlefield tab, then shuffle. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on a cave you control. It becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with haste, it's still a land. Destroy target enchantment. Intrepid Paleontologist, 1 and 1 green, 2-2. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. 2. Exile target cards from a graveyard. You may cast dinosaur creature spells from among cards you own exiled with Intrepid Paleontologist. If you cast a spell this way, that creature enters the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Abuelo Ancestral Echo for 1-1 white and 1 blue, 2-2, Flying War 2, 1-1 white and 1 blue, exile another target creature or artifact you control, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. The Land Cycle, Restless Prayer, enters the battlefield tab. Tap to add 1 green or 1 white mana. 2 1 green and 1 white. It becomes a 3/3 green and white llama creature until end of turn. It's still a land. Whenever it attacks, other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Promo Pack exclusive. Spyglass Siren for 1 blue 1/1 flying, enters the battlefield, create a map token. Deep Cavern Bed for 1 and 1 black 1/1 flying and lifelink, enters the battlefield, look at target opponent's hand, you may exile an online card from it until it leaves the battlefield. Geological Appraiser for 2 and 2 red 3/2 enters the battlefield, if you cast it, discover 3. Cenote Scout for 1 green 1/1 enters the battlefield, it explores. Bartolomeo de Presidio for 1 white and 1 black 2/1 sacrifice another creature or artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Spring Loaded Soulblaze for 1 and 1 white artifact flash, enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to target tapped creature and opponent controls. Craft with artifact for 3 and 1 white, and you can transform it into Blade Wheel Chariot 5/5 tap 2 other untapped artifact control, it becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Crew for only 1. Uchbenbak The Great Mistake 3/1 blue and 1 black 6/4 Vigilance and Menace, Descent 8 for 4 1 blue and 1 black, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Activate only if there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard and only as a sorcery. Caverns of Land Cave, tap to add 1 Charisma mana. 2. It becomes a 3/3 elemental creature until end of turn. It's still a cave land. Activate only if the number of other caves you control plus the number of cave cards in your graveyard is 3 or greater. And while we are talking about lands, the common discover lands, all of them will enter the battlefield tapped, all of them will tap for that particular color, all of them have the ability for and that particular color, tap, sacrifice it, discover 4, activate only as a sorcery. Reprints direct from Ixalan, chart a course, treasure map, growing Rise of Itlamok, and Gizat Sun's Avatar. Gizat Sun's Avatar is one of the most expensive cards from Rifles of Ixalan. Box stoppers, borderless box stoppers to be precisely. Yes, Lost Caverns of Ixalan will have box stoppers, and you can find Expedition Map or Chalice of the Void, Arcane Signet or Amulet of Vigor. Special Guest, these are special cards that you can find along with the list. Underworld Breach, Trisos Triton Hero, Star Compass, Melkim Keen-Eyed Navigator, Bridge from Below, and Kalamax the Stormsire. Commanders, the Lost Caverns of Ixalan will have 4 pre-constructed commander decks. Their commanders, Admiral Brass Unsinkable for 2 1 blue 1 black and 1 red 3/3 enters the battlefield, mill 4 cards. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may return target pirate creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. It has base power and toughness of 4/4. It gains haste until end of turn. Pantlaza Sun's Favor 2 1 red 1 green and 1 white 4/4. When it enters the battlefield or another dinosaur under your control, you may discover X, where X is that creature's toughness. Do this only once each turn. Clavelinho, First of the Blessed for 1 1 white and 1 black 2/2. Whenever you attack, target attacking vampire that isn't a demon becomes a demon in addition to its other types. It gains when this creature dies, draw a card and create a tapped 4/3 white and black vampire demon creature token with flying. Last commander, Hagbal of the Surging Soul 2 1 green and 1 blue 3/3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, each merfolk creature you control explores. When it attacks, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield if you don't draw a card. Jurassic World, Life Finds a Way 2 and 1 green enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, populate. Ravenous Tyrannosaurus 4 1 red and 1 green 6/6 Devour 3. Whenever it attacks, it deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 other target creature. Excess damage is dealt to that creature controllers instead. E.N.D. Paleontologist 2 1 green 1 white and 1 blue 2/5. Tap, exile a creature card from your graveyard, discover X, where X is the mana value of the exile card. Activate only as a sorcery. Dino DNA for 1 generic mana artifact, imprint for 1 generic mana, tap, exile target creature card from a graveyard, activate only as a sorcery. 6. Create a token that's a copy of target creature card exiled with it, except it's a 6/6 green dinosaur creature with trample, activate only as a sorcery. Indoraptor the Perfect Hybrid for 1 hybrid mana between black and green and 1 red 3/1 Bloodthirst X, Menace, and Rage. Whenever is dealt damage, choose an opponent at random. It deals damage equal to its power to that player unless they sacrifice a non-token creature. Last but not least, Command Tower. But that's not all. Jurassic World will have secret lairs. Obviously, Wizard of the Coast will never miss an opportunity. One of these cards is Dr. Ian Malcolm, skinned on Atlapalani Nestender. So that was the last card in this particular day 1 of the spoilers of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Join me again tomorrow for more spoilers of this colorful set. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more and more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.